Hey guys, my name is Nathan Haddad. I'm a black belt under Helio Seneca. Today we're going to talk about the foundation for your jiu-jitsu. So we're basically going to look at the pretext, if you will. Falls, hip escapes, basic things that a lot of gyms around the world use to warm up. We're going to talk about those and break them down. So guys, the first thing I want to go over when we talk about fundamental drills or solo movements that we can do in jiu-jitsu is going to be a break fall, okay? And that's going to be so important for really your entire training journey, if you will, for jiu-jitsu, which is learning how to fall the right way. And so anytime I do a break fall, I'm looking to do a couple things. First thing, I never let my head hit the floor. So if I'm doing a break fall, again, I'm breaking my fall. So I want to fall to the ground as soft as possible, again, without hurting my head, posting my hands and breaking my arm or my wrist. I want to fall and kind of dissipate that energy. So when I do a break fall, what I do, first, to drill this, I put my chin with my chest, and I want to sit as low to the floor as I can, almost like I'm going to do a deep squat here. And then as I rock back to the floor, you'll notice I'm going to hit the floor in like a rocking chair style motion. So I rock back into my break fall. So you'll notice I didn't rock back so far that my head slams back and hits the ground. Even though I have these nice mats, I still wouldn't want to get in the habit of hitting my head on the floor ever, right? So again, I sit everything backing down, I rock back, I slap the floor. And what I'm doing with my hands here, if I'm on nice mats, I can really make a nice hard slap here. But if I'm not on nice mats, maybe if I was outside or whatever, I'm not going to slap hard all the time, right? I can kind of use this, just let my arms naturally fall here instead of really making a strong smack. Again, depends on the situation that you're in, but my chin is tucked, my head's off the floor. I'm rocking back here rather than a drop or a splat where I'm gonna knock the wind out of myself. Okay. Second thing here, I never post my hands on the floor. So a lot of times I'll be teaching new people, and what they do is when they sit back, they want to sit and catch themselves like this. And that's just a really good way to hurt your wrist, break your arm. You never want to fall on your arm. So again, when I lower that base down, I sit, I smack. Okay. So from the back angle here, I'd sit, smack. Again, from this angle here, I would sit and smack. And again, it's kind of that rocking motion, really paying attention to my head position. My chin is tucked, so that way I'm not smacking my head on the floor. And so now we run into, if my break fall, the momentum's a little bit too great and I need to roll. So that's gonna be a backwards roll. And it's the same idea here, guys. I wanna soften that fall as much as I can, and I make sure that my head never touches the ground. I can't stress the importance of that enough. Your head can't touch the ground. Okay, so when I smack this time, I'm gonna do a backwards roll over my shoulder. Okay, so I'll show it a few times and then we'll get into it. So again, I make my break fall, I roll over my shoulder, and I'm back up to my knees or up to my feet. Okay, from this side here, I make my break fall, I roll on my shoulder, and I'm back up. Okay, now, what happened here? What did we do? Well, again, maybe I was thrown or I fell and the momentum is too great to where I can't just do my break fall anymore. So I need to continue it with a roll. So what I do is as I'm rocking back, well now my knees are coming too close to my head. So inevitably, if I just tried to fall here, my head might smack and I might stack myself up. So what I'm gonna do is bring my knees to one side and roll over my shoulder. Okay? What I generally tell my students is look the opposite direction. So I'm gonna look to my left and bring my knees to the right. And so what that will allow me to do is bring my knees over my shoulder. Okay, so again, I never go over my head. So again, as I sit low, I smack the ground, my head never touches, I roll on my shoulder softly, right? Especially practicing this, starting out, just practice. Take your time, it doesn't need to be super fast. I sit back, I smack the floor, I roll on my shoulder. And now I'm back up to my knees, I'm back up to my feet, and we can continue from there. So that's just gonna be our backwards roll. And let's look at a forward roll as well. So a forward roll is the same thing, right? I'm falling forward this time, and in the same way, I never wanna hit my head going backwards, I never wanna hit my head going forward. So when I do a forward roll, it's the same idea. I'm gonna tuck my head and roll over my shoulder. Okay, the simplest way that I teach this. I like to start here. It doesn't matter, you can have your left leg forward, you can have your right leg forward, okay? We'll do both. For this case, I'll have my right leg forward. And I'm gonna bring my right hand up, almost like I'm making a shield in front of my face, okay? And I'm gonna take my left hand and put it behind it. So I have this little frame that I've made. What I like to do, especially for beginners, is I tell people to put this hand, this shield, on the floor first. So I'm gonna lower my level and look to put that frame on the floor. And as I put that frame on the floor, I'm gonna roll on my shoulder. So I will look, since my right leg is forward, to the left. I'll bring my frame up. Now I put this shield on the floor, I'm gonna roll on my shoulder. So I make a nice soft roll over my shoulder. Again, I don't need to start this from here and go into a diving front roll, especially just practicing. I start low, so look how I can start here. I can lower my base, put that shield to the floor, roll on my shoulder. Super easy here, okay? Left leg forward, same thing. Left hand, right hand goes behind it. Okay, I don't extend out, I keep it tight. Now, since my left leg is forward, I'm gonna look to the right. I'm gonna put that shield on the floor and go on my left shoulder. Here, I stand up in base, and now we've completed our forward roll. Okay, so again, same idea, my head just never hits the floor. That's one of the most important things you'll learn in Jiu-Jitsu, is to fall the proper way, not allowing for your head to hit the floor. So in the same context of a backwards breakfall or a back roll, we also have a forward roll or a forward breakfall, okay? In a forward breakfall, I'm gonna go in a front roll, but instead of continuing my roll up to my feet, I'm gonna slap out and make a breakfall motion. Okay, so it's gonna be the same idea as our forward roll, except we're just not continuing that motion. We almost come to like a skid stop, okay? And I make that same slap out like I did on the backwards breakfall. So it's gonna look like this. As I roll, my momentum stops and I slap out with my hand and my foot here. So you notice here, this is the motion that hits. Look where my head is off the floor. I never let it drop, right? Head off the floor. I'm not posted up. I'm not posted. I'm here on my side. I let these naturally drop to make a nice break fall, okay? So again, if I go on my right side, as I roll through, my left hand's gonna hit, my left foot's gonna hit. My head stays off the floor, how my right foot is posted in a base, okay? So again, on this side, as I roll through, again, same motion as a forward roll. As I roll, I slap out. And you'll see here, my head never hit the floor. I make a nice motion here, okay? Hand out, I don't want it over here, like kind of tight to my body, not super far, just here. Leg off the floor, head off the floor, hand tight. There's my break fall, okay? So that is our forward break fall. Again, to teach us how to fall properly. Probably the most important thing you'll learn in Jiu-Jitsu. So now let's start moving into some different drills that you'll learn in grappling. One of the first things that we do is we start with a motion that we call the duck step. Okay, and this just builds us into step double legs and step single legs, which then build us into double leg takedowns and single leg takedowns. So the duck step, how we start this drill, we start in a half kneeling position, almost like if you were in a lunge here. So I have my left foot posted, my right knee down. And what I'm looking to do is drive over my lead knee. Okay, so I'm gonna drive over my lead knee, and as soon as my lead knee hits the floor, my rear leg is gonna come up, and I'm gonna get back into a lunge position. And I'm gonna keep going, dropping my lead knee and then bringing my rear leg up. So it will look like this if we play the drill. My left leg's posted. Look how I turn my toes slightly to the inside. I don't want to be out here. I need to go over my knee. So I turn my toes slightly to the inside. I drive over my knee. My rear leg comes up here. I drive over my knee. My rear leg comes up. I drive over my knee. So I continue this motion. Now, to add to this, one thing that we'll do is use our hands. So we'll pull in, almost motioning like we do a double leg. So here, my hands are out. As I drive over that knee, I pull in. As I bring my leg up, I pull in. I make this duck step drill all the way down the mat. So we have our students go down the mats a few times just to get comfortable. Again, driving over the lead knee, rear leg comes up, drive over the lead knee, Rear leg comes up, and we go all the way down the mats, and that's gonna be our duck step drill, again, which will build us into a step double leg or a step single leg, which will then continue into an actual double leg and a single leg. So let's move forward on this with our step double leg, okay? Our step double leg is just leading us into a double leg, and it's gonna teach us the proper mechanics of our footwork on how to take somebody down, okay? And so we'll do this with our left leg forward. We'll also do this with our right leg forward. It's the same thing. And I would recommend you practice both sides. It's always good to just have the understanding, right? So on a step double leg, I start. So let's say I start with my right leg forward. First thing, I lower my base. So here, I'm standing super tall. I'm gonna lower my base. I hinge my hips, sit my butt down, I bend my chest. So I'm here, okay? I'm in a good wrestling base, flat back position. I don't wanna be rounded here. So I'm in a nice flat back position, hips back, chest here. I'm in a good position to shoot. Now, the motion is gonna be simple. I'm gonna step on my right foot, and I wanna step on my heel. I'm gonna drive over my toes, and I'm gonna drive over my knee. So I'm gonna drive over my lead knee. So again, if I start right leg forward here, first thing, I lower my base. Second, I step on my right foot. Look how I step forward on my heel, drive over my toes, drive over my right knee. So my left leg is stretched here. My right knee is the only leg that's on the ground, okay? Now from here, with my left leg stretched back, my left leg's gonna come up next to my right knee. So if I was on a line here with my right knee, my left toes are gonna be on that same line. So I don't wanna bring my left leg up like we did in the duck step drill. Okay, I wanna bring it exactly in line. And now I'm gonna push off my left foot, and I'm gonna jump to the right here in a stance. Okay, so from a forward angle, it would look like this. I lower my base, I step heel, toe, knee, chest up, back straight. My left leg comes up, just next to, and I jump to the right. Boom, in a stance, okay? So we would go down the mats just like this. Lower my base, heel, toe over my knee, stretch. My left leg comes up, I jump to the right. Boom, in a base. I would lower my base again, step, heel, toe, knee, same thing. Left leg up, jump to the right. If I came back down, it would look like this. Lower my base, I step, heel, toe, knee, chest up, back straight. My left leg comes up on the line, I jump to the right, boom, in base. I lower my base again, okay? And I keep going. I see two common mistakes when we teach this drill, and they're really easy to fix, but it's just kind of our instinct. We get ahead of ourselves. And one thing is, most people, when they start this drill, they lower their base, they start great. And then when you tell them, okay, step and drop on your lead knee, they do this. And they put their back knee on the floor. And it's just kind of our instinct, right? We're used to lunging. So you have to fight that instinct a little bit if you've never wrestled, of dropping the back knee. You need to lower your base, and you need to drop your lead knee to the floor, here. So my left leg stretches here, okay? So that's the first mistake. Second mistake, oftentimes guys will rush. So they'll get here and they step heel, toe, and they get almost down to the knee, and then they come up and jump. It's not what I want. I want you to drive all the way over that knee. So as I lower, I step, I drive all the way over that knee. My left knee is not on the floor right now, just my right leg. Now my left leg comes up, again parallel, and I jump to the right, boom. And every time I do one rep, I reset. So like this, when I set, I reset. Low base, good stance, I go again. Heel, toe, knee, and I reset and go again. So I really take my time on this drill to understand our step double leg. Let's continue this on a step single leg. Okay, so a step single leg, much like a step double leg, I'm dropping my lead knee to the floor. The difference is on a single leg, we're gonna drill almost like a sweep single, and I'm going to spin my leg behind me this time rather than stepping across. So it's gonna look like this. I lower my base, same way, boom. Now this time, my right leg is forward. I'm gonna step my left leg to the left. Left leg to the left to give a little bit of a base here. After I step my left leg to the left, I'm gonna push off of it and step my right leg to the right, here. So I make two steps. 1, 2. 1, 2. One more time. 1, 2. After I drive off that right leg, I'm gonna put my right knee to the floor, okay? So I'm gonna go 1, 2. Now watch my right knee. 3. As that right knee goes to the floor, I spin my left leg behind me. like this. Okay? So the full motion, 1, 2, 3, 4. And here to practice this, you can put your right hand on the floor with you to get a little bit more spin. So 1, 2, 3. Make it a 3-step instead of 4. 1, 2, 3. From this angle here, 1, 2, 3. Chest stays up the whole time. My left leg is posted. I'm rotating on my right knee here. Okay? So again, I step, 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. I push off. My left foot steps out to give me the base. I push off that left foot, onto my right foot. I drop that right knee with my hand, spin everything behind. So that's going to be our step single leg. And again, these are just some basic footwork drills that are going to build us into our sweep single leg or standard double leg. Let's get started with some more drills that you're going to need in your jiu-jitsu journey, right? Especially starting out on the ground. One drill that we do all the time is a hip escape. And this is super common in jiu-jitsu because you're going to use it almost daily in your training, okay? Whether that's elbow escaping or re-guarding or really any movement from the bottom, you're gonna need to understand a basic hip escape, okay? And what does that look like? It's a way to move myself on the ground. I always tell my students, it's kind of like learning how to walk on the ground, okay? The most efficient way possible. So if I needed to move back, right, or move my hips away on the ground, it wouldn't make much sense for me to just push my legs and have all this friction trying to walk my head back. So I would want to do a hip escape instead. So what I can do to hip escape here, I start with my elbows in and my knees bent. And it's a very basic thing. I'm going to raise my hips off the floor and I'm going to turn to one side. And as I turn to that side, I'm elevating my hips. I'm going to push through my feet to push my butt back towards my back wall here. So look how I turn and push. Okay, some people will call hip escape shrimping, right? Because you kind of look like a shrimp here. As I bridge my hips, I turn and I push. I come back center. So you'll notice I start moving down the mats with my hip escape, okay? So again, we start here. My elbows are in, my knees are bent. The drill is just such. I raise my hips, I turn, I push through my feet to push my butt back and I come back center. Elbows in, knees bent. I raise my hips off the floor. I turn to the other side. I push, and I come back. Knees bent, head off the floor, elbows in. Bridge, turn, push, and back center. And we go all the way down the mats, okay? So this is like something that we will use in a warm-up, right? Just a basic shrimp down the mats. And you're just getting that understanding down. So you'll go down the mats a few times with a nice hip escape. Again, you take your time here. I don't need to turn on my side and kick my feet out like this. You see a lot of people make that mistake. I also don't want to be flat here and try to hip escape. So I first bridge and I turn. After I turn, I push through my toes to bring my butt back. Imagine there's like a wall here, okay, and even behind me, and I need to get out as small as possible to make that hip escape. Okay, so that's going to be our basic hip escape or shrimping that you will use all the time in jiu-jitsu. Something else you're going to use a lot in jiu-jitsu is going to be a forward hip escape. I've heard people also call this a hip pull through. Either way, something that you're going to use a lot, especially if escaping side control. Again, re-guarding is where you see this the most. And it's just understanding how to pull your hips back in. So it's almost like a reverse hip escape. I'm going to start with my elbows in, knees bent, and I turn on my side the same way. Now this time what I'm going to do, instead of pushing my butt back, I want to bring my hips forward. So what I'm going to do is take my top leg, so I'm on my right side, my left leg is going to step over my right knee, like this. And now I'm going to pull my right knee through this space here to bring my hips in, like such. And now I turn all the way to my other side. I step my right leg over my left and pull my hips. Step to the other side and pull my hips. So you'll notice if we drill this, we can actually go down in a straight line here, down to the other side of the mat. So I turn and I pull. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, learning how to walk down the mats, okay, or use your body to pull you forward rather than just trying to scoot down. So as I turn, I step. I step. Now I bring this hip, my knee through to pull my hips in. 1. Go to the other side. 2, 3. Okay? Facing the camera here, just look like this. Turn on my side, pull. On my side, pull. On my side, pull. So that's going to be a forward hip escape, okay, or a hip pull through. Again, just another basic motion that you'll probably need when you're starting jiu-jitsu. So another fundamental movement that you're going to want to know for jiu-jitsu is going to be how to stand up properly, okay, a technical get up. And this is something that you can do with a partner, but you can also practice it alone. And it's a drill that we'll have our students do, again, to practice standing up the right way. So we're going to start here, laying on my back, and I'm going to bring my legs up. And so what I want to do is bring my knees close to my chest, and I want to have my feet above my knees. Okay? And what I want to do, as I pull my knees close to my chest, I turn my feet in slightly, almost like I'm making like a C with my feet, almost like if I'm going to touch the bottoms of my feet together. I don't need to be that close, but I want to be here. Again, knees tight to my chest, feet above my knees, so I don't let my feet sag below. Okay? My head's off the floor, and I'm going to bring my hands down to my side like this, okay? And what this allows me to do is rock my body to move in a circle here, okay? And why would we need to move like that? Again, if somebody's standing over top of me and I want to get back up to my feet, I need to be able to move properly. So if somebody's walking around me, I can rock my body here, okay? Now, let's talk about the actual get up. So when we get up, we want to stand up to either our fight stance or a wrestling base, right? Our jiu-jitsu stance, if you will. And that's just going to depend on why you're training, what your reasoning for training is. If you're training jiu-jitsu for self-defense, you're probably going to want to stand up in a fight stance with your hands up and your chin down. If you're playing jiu-jitsu for sport, you might want to stand up in a wrestling base, low level. It's the same technique, not much is going to change. So what I'm going to do is bring my knees tight to my chest, feet above my knees, hands here. And I'm going to sit up from my right elbow to my right hand. So what I don't want to do is rock and post my hand. I want to roll to my right elbow. Look how I kind of favor. I go right elbow, press to my right hand. And I'm sitting here, heel to heel, so I don't cover my foot like this. Okay, my right hand is close up to my body. My left hand is out here. Okay, and my left foot is posted. So I'm in this position here. Okay, now from here, I'm going to raise my hips off the floor, posting on my left foot and my right hand. I bring my hips up and I bring my right leg all the way back to the back corner. Okay, and what I want to do is point my belly button to the floor here. Now I stand up. Again, depending on why I'm doing jiu-jitsu, I either stand up in a fight stance here or I stand up in a wrestling base here. But it's the same motion to get up, right? So again, I'm here. I go from this angle. Feet above my knees. I sit up. Boom. Right knee is down, left foot's posted, right hand's posted. I raise my hips off the floor. I pull my right leg all the way back, and I stand up in either a fight stance or in a wrestling stance, ready to shoot takedowns. Same thing, okay? So again, feet above my knees. I sit up, I stand up here. Now, the drill that we'll have students do here is a break fall, sit up, stand up. So it looks like this. Break fall, sit up, stand up. Break fall, sit up, stand up. Break fall, sit up, stand up. And again, depending on the modality you're doing jiu-jitsu for, stand up in your proper stance. So if I'm doing jiu-jitsu for self-defense, if I'm doing jiu-jitsu for sport, and I'm just making sure that I get those reps in, understanding how to stand up properly, okay? One final note on this, since I don't have a partner with me, if I did have a partner with me, I would be facing them the entire time, okay? So, for example, if the camera, you guys in front of me, is who I'm fighting, here. You are in between my feet here. I sit up, I'm looking directly at you, I can still see you. When I stand up, you're still in front of me here. So what I never want to do, if I'm fighting you guys here, stand up facing a different direction. I'm always facing you, facing the threat that's in front of me. And so that is going to be our technical stand-up. Guys, if you like that video and want more, go to getselfdefense.com. We'll send you every Tuesday tutorial we have completely free. We'll see you guys there.